Hey everybody, happy Friday to you. Thank you for joining us here on Northern Life today. We're going to begin our show honoring the last living World War II veterans who are back in Normandy, France today, marking 81 years since D-Day. That pivotal invasion helped free Western Europe from Nazi control. And today, our U.S. vets who are there want to make sure the future generations never forget the sacrifice that shaped world history. So I'm sure it's just a very meaningful day for the folks who were able to visit there.
It's amazing going back and just looking at the old footage of that day and just how impressive it was that we were able to do anything at all. I mean, my gosh, a lot of folks very brave doing that mission back in that day. That was insane.
And also on the weather front, you know, having our meteorologists here, being able to predict what day they were going to get on the beach. You know,
Played a huge role.
They had to study I forgot who it was, but I read it in a luck book that I had one time talking about how they made sure that they checked the weather the weeks and days ahead of time to make sure they had a successful mission, and obviously they did.
It worked out, yes. Yeah. Thank you everybody that served back in that day and continue to serve in this day as well. Well, here's what's coming up later here today on today's show. We get a first-hand look at how the Minnesota DNR does fawn research, watching them implement GPS collars to track state deer trends. Interesting to a lot of folks around here, of course.
Yeah, look at that tiny little fawn. So cute. Plus, there's always one word that we have a tough time spelling. I have a number of them I can name. But why is that? We're going to get answers from a psychology professor about why these struggles persist in our lives still today, even in the world of spell check. We get corrected all the time, you know, right from our computers, but still words I cannot spell to this day. So
we're fighting through it.
We are. For our 12:30 viewers out there catching our show today, we have a big night ahead for our evening newscasts. Here's what's coming up tonight on Northern News Now.
Our Your Town Summer Series is kicking off, and we are starting things right here in beautiful Carlton County.
I'm so ready. Let's go.
Here in the Northland, you might see these bags of wild rice sold at the store, but do you know how it's made? We're going to show you.
Join us Friday as we go live from the Carlton County area. Your Town is presented by Lucky 7 General Stores and in part by these local sponsors.
Absolutely cannot wait. It's going to be so much fun, and a huge thanks to Black Bear Casino Resort for hosting us tonight. We're going to be out near their golf course, so you can catch our teams live there tonight at 4, 5, and 6. And if you're catching us at 6:30, you can find the full stories we aired during those shows on our website, northernnewsnow.com. You saw whitewater rafting there. We're in Jay Cooke State Park. We're meeting folks who spend their lives dedicated to teaching about wild rice and its important indigenous culture. So, yeah, we just have so much fun stuff to share tonight.
It's always fun to be live in different parts of the Northland. We got such great spots, and obviously being in your community where you're at, always a good time.
Even though we've all been up here forever, you know, it's cool to see different things that we have not seen before up here. And these live shows are give us that chance to do that. It's very cool.
Yeah. Meet you where you are.
Yep.
And today, we also want to congratulate all of our wonderful new high school graduates here in the Northland. Yeah, congrats. Class of 2025. Yeah, we hope the road ahead for you is filled with fun and all sorts of wonder. And also, I want to give a quick shout out to my cousin Lauren, who's graduating from Hermantown up the hill there. And for our younger graduates out there too, a big shout out to our executive producer Ben, his daughter, who is graduating kindergarten.
Wow,
that
so
is
sweet.
So exciting.
Just to make everybody here feel old, I think they were born in 2007 is the graduating class?
Oh, really?
That's insane.
Yep.
That is that's almost like our graduating year. It was like 2015 for me. I mean, it's getting close. That's insane.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I graduated high school in 2010. So yeah, we're like only 3 years away, I suppose. That's bizarre. I didn't even think about that. Thanks for making me feel great.
Anytime. It's what I do. I don't know if we've ever shared these photos on air before, but let's take a moment to remember our own high school graduations here, including our director, Shania, who is a Denfeld grad. All of us, very similar colors.
Yeah, I was thinking it was so funny that you all had the maroon colors on there. I love it. And that's a photo of me in the middle on my last day of high school. I couldn't find my high school graduation photo because, you know, Facebook was barely invented back then. But I found one from my last day.
So we're looking back at my younger self. I feel like I go through a lot of different changes in my physical appearance, so it's fun seeing myself. What is that? over 10 years now.
Over 10 years ago. That's wild. Yeah, I'm coming up on my 10-year anniversary coming up this
Wow.
summer. So pretty darn crazy.
Are you doing it's like a class reunion play?
I believe there is in Two Harbors.
Oh,
Yes.
fun.
Yep. So
Okay.
early July, I might have to do that whole thing. It'll be a lot of fun. But I just remember graduation being so much fun and so rewarding to see everybody there, and you just did this huge chapter in your life, and it's so cool to just move on to the next chapter. It's scary, it's daunting,
Right.
Yeah.
but it's a lot of fun. The possibilities that are in the future.
Did you guys do all-night grad parties at your school?
We did.
Yeah.
We did an
What
all-night
you do?
party at Maple Grove Senior. Yeah, we had
Really?
the fake, what was it, blackjack tables
Oh,
and
yeah,
whatnot. Not
yeah.
actual gambling.
Sure,
going on.
sure.
Yeah, they gave us chips. Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know if we did that in our school. We did an all-night prom party, but not like
okay.
a. Yeah, that's cool.
I
though.
imagine that's probably similar
very
kind
similar.
of vibes. Yeah, I remember had a what do you call it? A hypnotist.
Whoa, yeah,
and
yeah.
came. That was one thing. It was at UMD in the rec area, so we got to do the rock wall climbing too. It was super fun. Yeah. So hopefully those high school seniors are resting up before all the grad parties.
Yeah, make sure to have fun and enjoy it. Well, next month, going to be very important for myself. That is because my friends, McDonald's, has announced it is snack wrap time, which will be returning permanently on the menu come July 10th. The fast food chain first introduced them back in 2006, before this year's graduates were born, and tragically, they discontinued them nationally a decade later. McDonald's says customers have been begging for them, including myself, and now Popeyes has actually come out with their own version too, so maybe a little pressure on McDonald's to get a chicken snack wrap out there on the menu.
Yeah, man. When you said begging for, I just imagine you going to the doors of McDonald's, pounding on the door,
Please,
man.
Please,
good
Ronald.
sir. Yeah.
Well, it was funny too because McDonald's social media person posted this huge long paragraph talking about the return, and Popeye's social media said that's too long. I'm not going to read it. So little fight between those two
Oh,
sides.
that's funny. And you got one when you were in Canada too, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Tasty.
Well, hey, coming up, exciting news for Jeopardy! Wheel of Fortune. We'll see you after the break.
Welcome back, folks. Fans of Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy will soon be able to stream their favorite game shows. Sony Pictures Entertainment has announced new episodes of both shows will be available on Hulu and Peacock starting in September. The episodes will drop on the services a day after they air on TV. And in case you didn't know, which I didn't know this as well, older episodes of Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy have been available to stream for years. I had no idea that was the case. I want to go back and see Alex Trebek with a mustache. Go way back,
There you go.
back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Started from the very beginning.
Oh, that'd be
Oh,
awesome.
it would be cool to see the evolution of a show like that. I especially would think it would be cool to see the evolution of Price is Right.
Yes.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, and see how prices have changed maybe for things, and just like how the show has elevated to such a high production level.
So on Roku, there's the Bob Barker era Price is Right.
Wow.
It airs 24/7.
Cool.
And if you watch it, it is impossible to guess what the prices of anything. Like cars are like $6 grand.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, what?
So
Yeah.
different
Yeah,
these days, yeah.
completely different. So
I can
it's
see that.
impossible.
Yeah, guys
What
ever
is
watch
that? Oh, sorry.
Card Sharks?
No.
No, I haven't.
That's an old show.
Okay.
I'm sure the folks out there might know what it is.
Is it
We used to
good?
watch that growing up. Or the old Family Feud.
Yeah, oh yeah. Now, which one are you talking? Richard Dawson, like the original?
Richard Dawson, I
Richard
believe,
Dawson.
yeah.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, I like Family Feud. I don't know the difference between old and new, except Steve Harvey does.
Steve Harvey.
the
Great.
current
Yep,
version.
yep.
Okay, he's fun.
He is
Yeah,
great.
he's really
I
fun.
love Steve.
Well, when it comes to working in news, we do all sorts of writing and typing on a daily basis, of course, for on air and online. But sometimes we all struggle to spell certain words.
Yeah, but why is that? We get some answers from our sister station thanks to Jeff Wagner.
Telling stories for a living requires a thorough understanding of the English language, but that expertise has exceptions.
Do you feel you're good at spelling?
No, I would say a shaky C.
I feel like generally good, but I feel like over time I lose a little bit of it.
How do you think we are at spelling?
Reporters are great.
Cole Primo is our digital manager, proofreading our stories before they hit WCCO's website.
I'm always conscientious about looking at how I'm spelling. Conscientious, that's a tough one to spell.
Conscious, unconscious?
Yeah.
Always struggle with those. Are there any words that you struggle with in particular?
Yes.
What are they?
Okay, cemetery, carousel.
One word that comes to mind that I always look at multiple times is occasion.
License, I have a hard time with.
Ariel James is an assistant psychology professor at Macalester College. Why do we struggle to spell certain words?
One thing is just that English in particular is very tricky. It has what people call an opaque orthography.
That means how a word sounds relative to how it's spelled isn't clear, whereas other languages have a more transparent connection between the two.
And so in English, there are just so many options for how to spell different sounds. And so I think that's a lot of the issues. You just have to memorize certain things.
Have you ever looked at a word that you spelled correctly, but then thought it was incorrect?
That actually happened to me recently, and it was a simple word.
February. Tomorrow is another one. Restaurant.
The sudden skepticism of a correctly spelled word is called wordnesia, like a brain glitch for something that should be familiar. Ariel says our brains are often on autopilot when typing or writing until a word makes us acutely aware.
So if you look at something too long, I think it lets you step out of this sort of automatic, I just know things, it's sort of implicit, and then you think too much and things become strange.
In those moments, you might lean on spell check to verify.
Do you think that's helping or hurting our ability to spell words?
I think it's probably hurting because we're relying on it.
On the one hand, it could be helpful to be able to get feedback on how to correctly spell things. At the same time, I think that it could be harmful.
Ariel says we learn information better when our brains do the work. For spelling, that could be memorizing a word or creating a mnemonic device.
And one tip that really helped me was someone told me cemetery has no A's.
Yeah. So just keep it going E's across.
With photojournalist Jose Pascual.
English is an interesting language.
To say the least.
Jeff Wagner, WCCO News.
I think it speaks to all of us, definitely. That wordnesia or whatever it was called back there, I definitely do that, but I don't think about the misspelling of the word. I look at the word and I say it over in my head and I'm like, is that even a word? You look at it long enough, it's like, that doesn't look like a word anymore to me.
Right.
It's so weird. So weird.
Yeah, I have the hardest time spelling the word lieutenant. Every time I have to spell like lieutenant governor or something, I just can't do it. Cemetery, like the reporter said in that piece too, is a tough one.
It's a huge one.
Definitely, yeah. There's just so many words that come to mind that I can't spell.
Yeah, I'm with Hunter though. I feel like lately as I get older, I think I know a word, and then I'm saying a word that's not even a word. Sherbert, for one of them.
Sherbert. An iconic piece of U.S. aviation is celebrating a century of fun. Goodyear blimps have been flying over Akron, Ohio. Akron?
Akron, yep.
Oh, okay, Akron.
It's the wordnesia thing.
Yeah, there we go. Akron, Ohio this week in celebration of the blimp's 100th birthday. The first Goodyear blimp, Pilgrim, took its first flight just outside of Akron on June 3rd of 1925. Today there are now 4 Goodyear blimps, 3 in the U.S. and 1 in Germany.
Wow, I got to see it at the old Daytona 500.
Wow.
That was really cool. One of the coolest things.
I do not want to be up in that.
No.
I don't want to see it on the ground. It looks large. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody. Down to our south in Iowa, a deer jumped through a window and caused some damage throughout a hair salon there. And in that body cam video, the police officer who responded had a reaction that I would have had as well.
Stop, bro. I know you're freaking out. Chill for a second.
Chill.
In the back room of that salon, the deer tried to escape through another closed window before it flopped on the floor, according to the police department. Officers eventually utilized a catch pole to remove that deer. There's no word on how soon that salon was able to reopen after the deer crashed to their front window.
Look at him trying to get out.
That would be me, though. I'd be like, hey, dude, just take it easy.
Yeah.
Stop jumping. It's not working. We'll figure this out together.
It worked, though. The deer sat down right away
Yeah.
and then didn't move much after that. Yeah.
Help me help you.
Yes.
Yeah. Summer is in full effect, and with it comes new life, specifically fawns. Jackson Jurek joined the Minnesota DNR on their 5th year of their fawn coloring project.
The sound of a fawn being collared by the Minnesota DNR in hopes of gathering valuable information to help learn and understand the beginning of new life for one of Minnesota's most prominent wildlife species.
The larger project is multifaceted. We're trying to, again, look at survival on an annual basis, identify causes of mortality, so predation, vehicle collisions, health-related mortalities, We're looking at bed site selection, so what areas fawns are bedding down to potentially reduce their risk of predation, and then overall habitat use, so what they're selecting on a seasonal basis, so during the summer, fall, winter.
So, just exactly how do you find these little guys? Surrounded by hundreds of acres, out in the middle of nowhere, southern Minnesota.
We developed this new method to use a drone with thermal infrared, looking for circular thermal signatures. Then we can switch to a color camera and confirm those. From there, we get a location, and then we can actually just walk right out to those and begin handling the animal.
While in the field, researchers are able to gather information, not only by tracking the fawns with the collar, but also by seeing where the fawns choose to bed themselves.
One of the key metrics that we wanted to do with identifying survival is update our deer population model. And the important thing with that is that allows us to have a better deer population model and set more accurate harvest limits for the southern Minnesota.
In its 5th year, the Minnesota's DNR Fawn Coloring Project has shown great signs of growth. From understanding the new life and with the hope for the best future of the species possible. Reporting in Blue Earth, I'm Jackson Jurek.
That's so nice that the fawn, you know, they're studying to help the fawns.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wonder if the fawns go and see their deer friends, and their deer friends are like, "Oh, that's a cool necklace you have on."
Yeah.
You know?
Where'd you get that?
Yeah.
I was just put in a bag. Whoa.
Very confusing.
Courtesy of the state of Minnesota. Well, hey, we got some great viewer video that was sent to us on our Northern Life text line. They recorded this at their place at Fremont Point, which I believe is in Duluth. 4 cubs having a fun time walking around with their mom. They also told us, the viewer also told us, they've been seeing a bobcat and coyotes where they live too.
gosh.
So a lot of wildlife hanging out there at Fremont Point.
Oh, so cute. I've never seen little bear cubs in person, but if I was inside safely, I would love that.
Yeah.
It'd be so fun.
I was telling Ryan the other day that I don't know what it is, but this year particularly, I never see bears in the wild.
Yeah.
And I saw 2 last weekend, a bear
Really?
cub in a separate location from a mother cub too.
Oh,
So
wow.
kind of cool, very cool.
Yeah, if you're sending this video too, it looks like that was from a security cam. But if you're taking video, make sure you're a safe distance away.
Be very careful.
We have a fun blindfold in store for next week, celebrating our forever friend when we come back.
Welcome back, folks. Coming up next week on Tuesday here on Northern Life, this may be the first ever reverse blindfold we've ever done, the old switcheroo that we're pulling on one of our coworkers here. We're in Superior over at the Choo Choo, where our blindfold for Briggs turned into a retirement party for our friend and photographer Keith, who left us earlier this week. We talked all about
For his retirement.
On his own
For his
terms.
retirement, no,
On
not
his
long-
own terms.
He didn't leave the world. He's still with us in Superior, living his fullest life. Anyway, we talk about his decades of TV work as we celebrate his retirement
There we
with
go.
a game of pool.
Yeah.
Retirement. that
There we
is.
go.
Yes,
So
that was a lot of fun.
A switcheroo at the Choo Choo.
Oh, the Choo Choo switcheroo.
Yeah, the
There
Choo
we
Choo.
go. That was fun.
Keith is still alive.
Yeah, yes, he is. He's doing well.
He's doing
as
well.
far as I know.
As far as we know.
Like
We'll
I
figure
said,
it out.
living his best life.
Yeah,
after he's
exactly.
retired.
Before we go today, how about some beautiful time-lapse footage? A colorful display of the northern lights seen in the Oregon sky the other night, posted to X by Oregon photographer Jeff Bryant, who said he shot the yellow, pink, and purple aurora passing above an abandoned schoolhouse out there on the West Coast.
Moody.
Almost
Very
eerie.
moody.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
eerie. That's cool, though. Very cool.
I think it was about this year around this time that I saw the Northern Lights for the first time.
Wow.
Yeah, like late
Living
April
up
or
here.
May, we had a big showing.
Yeah,
It was
living
real
up here
fun.
your whole life. That's crazy.
I know.
Thanks for joining us this week. We love you.
Yeah, we'll see you Monday. Have a great weekend.
Find some time to throw a line or just head outside to unwind. That's the life in the great North Woods. Hike or bike, whatever you like. Get out in the day, enjoy the night. Yeah, we got the life in the great North Woods. Yeah, we got the life in the great North Woods. Yeah, this is Northern Life.